Generally speaking, we all want to do behaviors that are healthy, useful, and important to us. But unfortunately, that's not always the case. I used to be a cigarette smoker, and whenever I felt a little bit nervous or unsafe, I used to grab my cigarette box, pull out a cigarette, and have a nice smoke. And then I felt a sense of well-being. And of course, the next time I felt a little bit anxious or unsafe, I would do the same thing again and again. It kind of probably went back to my teenage years when I felt a little bit uncomfortable with other people, and those who were smoking were laughing and joking with each other, and when I smoked I became part of the group, and therefore I felt a little bit safer. And so I associated cigarette smoking with feeling safer and repeated the action again and again and again, so much so that I even forgot the source of it, and it became a sense of benefit to me. Of course, in the long run, cigarette smoking is not good for our health. So how do we know when we're doing something that's useful and beneficial and it really is so, or something that's very unhealthy for us? In fact, sometimes we can be doing behaviors that are unhealthy, but thinking at the same time that they are healthy. And this is what I call behavioural vertigo. Vertigo, when a pilot thinks he's actually going up into the sky, but he's actually going down into the sea and eventually crashes. There's a number of ways that we can tackle this, but one of the ways that I have found very useful is to make a list of who and what is important to me. Who in my life is important to me, whether they're actually in it or not yet. For instance, having a spouse is very important to me. It doesn't matter if we actually have a spouse or not, but the fact is that having a spouse is important. Having family around me is important to me. Having friends around me is important to me. And then we can dig down a little bit and find out what kind of friend I want to be, what kind of brother I want to be, what kind of father I want to be, and so on. And another list that says what is important to me. It's important to me to go out and help other people. It's important to me to be a person who's loyal and who is dedicated to his work. It's important for me to be adventurous and curious about things that are around me, and so on. And we'll make a list of what is important to me. Then now we can distinguish whether our behaviors are bringing us towards these things that are important to me or away from these things that are important to me. In other words, I will now be able to distinguish which behaviors are useful for me in the type of life that I personally, my individual original life, how I want to live, or whether they are detrimental to the way that I want to live. So if we apply my smoking, in which I'm glad to say I've now stopped smoking for many years, is smoking beneficial in the long run for me? In the short run, for sure, it made me feel that sense of well-being. But in the long run, well, in the long run, there is a good high risk that I'm going to get, that I would get ill, and that I would not be functionable, and therefore I would not be able to spend time with my family and friends, and I would possibly get ill and not be able to carry out the work and the things that are important to me. So by having a perspective of freedom of choice, I can choose that I will continue smoking, get a short time benefit, but a long time very expensive cost, or I can choose not to smoke and rather spend my time and energy getting closer and chasing the things that are important to me that are on my list. Thank you for listening. If you can, share, like, tag, spread the word, see if we can do some prevention work, see if we can bring some well-being into this world. Thanks for listening.